Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Missing Frames. This is the podcast where we watch all the movies we should have seen by this point in our lives. I'm your host, Shawn Eastridge. We're hanging out on the Nerd Party Network, a collection of podcasts dedicated to all things entertainment. Check us out at thenerdparty.com and make sure you're following us on all social medias. You can follow us on Twitter at Join Nerd Party and on Facebook and Instagram at The Nerd Party. And our guest host today is a delightful, truly delightful human being who it's been far too long since she was last on, but here you are. Carley Cooper is back. Welcome.
Here I am.
Here you are, back again.
It's me.
And this
I'm
is
back.
we've got a doozy of an episode for you. But this, I just wanted to say, I think this is the first movie that we've done where one of us has not seen it.
No, where both of us have not seen it.
Where both of us has not seen it.
Because everyone you do is
we
one
had
person.
We had a long conversation before the episode started where we were talking about the movie Love on a Leash, which if you don't know what that is, Carley introduced me.
And also, let's not say anything about it, and let's just urge everybody. It's on YouTube, and no, there's nothing wrong with your computer. The sound doesn't work for the first 2 minutes, but just get past
go watch
that.
It. Really,
and just watch it.
The only reason this episode exists is that it's a backdoor for us to promote Love on a Leash. That's all. I need
everybody to see that, so I have people to talk to.
People are going to be so disappointed if they actually turn this episode off and go watch it, and then come back and realize we're not going to talk about Love on a Leash. But
no,
I just want I explained to Carley that my brain only functions on a higher level while I'm watching that film. So now if I don't say things correctly, what's up?
Because you haven't actually seen that movie. You've only seen the first few minutes of it. Can that be our next episode?
Yes, we'll do that. We should do that very, very soon. But until then, we're actually going to watch a real movie called Tootsie, which is a film that neither Carley nor I have seen ever.
Never. No.
Never.
And I'll be honest, I did think I had seen it before. I have not seen it. I was thinking of a different movie.
Were you thinking of Some Like It Hot?
No. But
were you thinking of Mrs. Doubtfire, perhaps?
No.
This is, it paved the way for what I guess we fondly refer to as the men dressing as women comedy, which for some reason, and it's funny because we talked about this before, but the audience doesn't know, so we're going to pretend like we're having this conversation for the first time right now. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, wait a second. So the American Film Institute list of the top 100 comedies, number 1 is Some Like It Hot. And I was talking with somebody about this, that Tootsie is number 2, and both these comedies feature men dressing as women. Who was I talking about that with? Oh, it was Carley, and it was in the Some Like It Hot episode. It was you. So we referenced Tootsie, but I'm sure in that episode we talked about watching it someday. Here we are.
Yeah, and we had also talked about the idea of labeling anything as like the funniest or the scariest or the, like anything. You kind of do it a disservice because you go in expecting it to be just blow your socks off. And I kind of feel like it sets the movie up to disappoint you a little bit. And we had talked about that in the Some Like It Hot episode, but Some Like It Hot, we talked about part of the reason why it's so funny is because it was a little ahead of its time. It's like having fun with itself, the movie, and also it holds up today.
Yes,
like
it's genuinely
all of the jokes
hysterical.
Still land. Yeah.
Like even I think the concept of men dressing in drag is obviously more touchy in these. Like it's not going to be played for broad semi slapstick comedy in this day and age now.
Yeah, where
you'll piss somebody off.
Right, whereas before it could be just like, "Oh, that's comical," and now it's like, "Well, why is that funny?"
Yes, exactly.
It's like that in itself is not what's funny, the circumstances surrounding it lend itself to being funny, but
You
that
have
on its
you
own.
have two men who are otherwise not remotely feminine,
Right.
all trying to be as like, oh yeah, we can pass as women. That's what's funny about it. So, but
Right,
obviously in
and
this day and age, it's harder to get that concept across without somebody being like, I don't know about that.
right, and even in Some Like It Hot, like, in their dressing like women, it's not something they necessarily want to do. It's a means to going into disguise. So that's also where the funny aspect of it comes from. So like my understanding with Tootsie, which I know very little about other
Yeah,
than
same.
that it's cross-dressing, but I don't think that there are gangsters trying to murder anybody. I could be wrong.
I
I
mean, you never know. You never know.
I
You
could
can
be
only
wrong.
hope. You can
But
only hope.
also, you said that it was in the top, like, 1 and 2 for the 100 best comedies. It's also, like, in the top 100. Both of those movies are just in the top 100 overall films
Yeah,
of all time.
greatest films of all time. And Tootsie is
So
consistently referenced as like, oh, it's a masterpiece.
yes, so I'm certain we're gonna love it, and I'm certain it's gonna be great, and I'm certain it's gonna be funny. I don't know what it's about.
Except for Dustin Hoffman dresses as a woman.
Is that
That's the
who's in
same.
it?
I mean, I don't know who's in it, but I've never heard of this actor, Mr. Hoffman, before. I think it's so crazy though. I do like. There's a whole other podcast about like why was the funniest thing on the planet men dressing as women. Like it's like it is so funny to me. Like number 3 is Doctor Strangelove. Like if you look at this list, and this is an old list, but it's like Some Like It Hot, Tootsie, and Doctor Strangelove, Annie Hall. So now we're getting into like, oh yeah, comedies. Airplane is number 10.
Oh,
How?
that's a great movie.
Yeah,
That's a
Airplane
great.
is hysterical. Like to me, I'm like, is Airplane funnier
Oh,
than Some Like It Hot?
is
Possibly.
is Airplane funnier than Top Secret?
Well, that I don't know. Top Secret is one of the
Is
best.
is Top Secret not in the top 10 if Airplane is number 10?
That's what I'm saying. Like Top Secret isn't even. It's probably not even on this list.
Okay,
It
that's upsetting. If
that
Airplane's on there and Top Secret's not on there, I don't understand who's
Good. I
making
wasn't
that
sure. I
list.
wasn't sure if we were about to bash on Top Secret, but that is
No,
another
and you and
masterpiece.
I are big fans of comedy, and in fact,
Yes.
that's a big part of how our friendship started. So, like, we have such a similar taste in like styles of comedy and ridiculous things that maybe not everybody
It is funny
understands the
because I do
layers.
remember the first time I met you being reduced to tears because I was like, how could anyone be so cruel and horrible? Like, I think, and you were just making fun of me. You're like, oh my God, this is a little too much. But it's
and
ironic, I think, that suddenly we were bonded by the comedy of tragedy.
well,
Really.
your tears, but everybody else was cheering.
Yes,
So
everyone else was very happy from what I recall. Uh, everyone's thinking like, is there a story behind this? There is no story.
no,
No,
there's not.
I'm
Sean was
sorry.
laughing so hard he was crying because the
Carly
first time
Carly
he met
does
me,
Carly does on a regular basis just make me cry, and it
just
brings joy.
eviscerate this
It's
man
hard to really pinpoint the moment because it happens so frequently when I'm
so
around you. I just
oft.
burst into tears.
Just so oft.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. Oh, we have similar senses of humor. We like the same comedies and things like that.
Yeah,
We watched Clue together and we enjoyed that while we didn't love it. It was not as funny as I remember it being, but there were moments in there that tickled our funny bones. But yeah, we have a very
definitely.
similar sense of humor. Yeah.
Yes. And I also I enjoy so much talking with you about movies that I love,
Likewise.
or just talking about movies in general, because I appreciate your perspective on things, you being a writer and you having like the same comedic appreciation that I have. I don't know, I feel like we always have such a fun conversation about this
We do.
stuff. So
It's
I always appreciate
dynamic,
it.
it's dramatic. It gives you everything you want and more from a podcast. And
Yeah.
it's, the only feeling you really can compare it to is watching a great film like
Like Love on a
Love on a
Leash.
Leash. Yes, exactly. Love on a Leash.
No.
Look forward to that episode when it comes
Oh
out.
my
But
God.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yes, Dustin Hoffman is in this film. I love Dustin Hoffman, so I'll say that much. Sydney Pollack directed it, and I don't think I've seen a single Sydney Pollack film ever,
Okay. Nor
which I
I don't.
feel like, yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you outside of this what else
Yeah.
he's
Well, I'm
done.
excited just because, like you've introduced me to movies, I've introduced you to movies. It's fun
Right.
that we're both getting to see this one and it has
Yes.
such high, like regard from the AFI that, it's not only one of the funniest comedies, it's also one of the best movies of all
Yes,
time.
it is
So,
very beloved, and I am very excited that we get to experience this first viewing together.
yes.
Do you Let's work together here. Let's
Okay.
try, as we do on Missing Frames, since we both have not seen the film, let's
Mhm.
tag team this and try to guess what Tootsie is about. And I really don't know that much. And I think you didn't even know Dustin Hoffman was in it. So
Nope.
we're very, very like our knowledge base of Tootsie is very low here. So
What's so funny too is like I'm so aware of this movie, but I like and
yeah,
I've heard the name but I've just never watched it. And also like recently earlier this year in Los Angeles they had like I don't I think it was a live performance or
really?
it was that or it was just a screening of it at
You
the
were like, it was that, or
Pantages
there was
Theater.
just a guy dressed up as a woman walking around my backyard with a bottle of booze.
Yeah, and I talked to my friends. I was like, "We should all go see Tootsie one night." I was like, "Oh yeah," but we didn't, and so I still haven't seen it, which I'm
Yeah.
grateful for because now we can experience this
You can experience
together,
this, and then when they do that again, you can go and you can be
and I'll know
reminded
what it's
of
about.
exactly.
I can wear a good outfit for it.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can dress like Dustin Hoffman. Not Dustin Hoffman dressing as a lady, but just Dustin
No,
Hoffman
Justin
in
Hoffman.
his
Yes.
normal
Some
clothes.
behind the scenes, like when he shows up to film that day.
Exactly. Yes.
Like
It'll be so meta, and one person's
this
gonna
is
get it.
deep cut Tootsie.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
You
So,
must
okay.
not be a real fan, and I'm just now seeing it.
All right. So, Tootsie, what's it about? It's about Dustin Hoffman. What's he doing? Like, why? So he's just living his life. He's a good guy. He can't catch a break. He just
Mm.
can't catch a break. Something for
You
some
think
reason.
that's what it is? You think he's
Yeah, like,
okay.
he's I'm trying to connect the dots to why he needs to
You
dress
know
as a
what?
woman.
You know what I think it is?
Okay, tell me.
Okay, I don't think he's in like a tough spot.
Okay.
I think he has a want t- to like maybe perform or
Okay.
to do something that maybe isn't as accepted with him being a man.
Okay.
So to be able to do something that he's passionate about, maybe he has to dress as a woman. And everybody loves Tootsie so much, but
Yes. Yeah.
maybe he struggles with like really his identity and being like, oh, if everybody knew I was Tootsie, I would, get like all of
Yeah.
this crap for
They
it. But
wouldn't love me anymore. I've
yeah,
created this persona and they don't know the real me, but this is the real me.
this
Okay.
is the
So,
real me. Yeah.
yeah. Do you think there's a romantic involvement where he's dressing up to get closer to a lady, or because
Oh,
that's what Some
so
Like It Hot did.
yeah, and I loved that whole storyline. That was one of
Right?
my favorite
It's so
things in
good.
that
It's so
movie.
good.
And just the turn and how Jack Lemmon starts to accept the love and he's enjoying it. um,
Nobody's perfect.
yeah, but yeah, so I I I imagine there probably is.
There has to be. I
What year did this movie come out?
think
Do you
it's the
know?
80s, mid 80s.
And I feel like most comedies, especially like I mean, in most well, maybe that's not true. Maybe I'm making a generalization that I shouldn't be, but
Go
I
for
feel
it. We
like
do that all the
there
time on this
yeah,
podcast.
I'm just postulating here. I feel like at that time like most comedies there always was some kind of romantic interest
Yes. This
because
is
like what is
1982, so it's
yeah.
definitely, I guarantee you there's like a romantic, like,
Yeah,
oh,
cuz
I've got to get closer to this lady, but she doesn't know that I'm really a man.
Right, because I think what's more relatable to the human experience than any kind of rejection with relationships, and like there's so much fun, like stuff that can be funny there because the opposite side of tragedy is comedy. So,
Right.
like I just feel like that's a relatable thing that helps any comedic story have these beats that like people can laugh at and enjoy and be like, oh, I've had a situation like that too. That's a funny way for things to have ended up. Or
Mm.
so I imagine there must be some kind of romantic interest story, perhaps. Maybe, in a sense where it's like that movie The Danish Girl, where he has a
Oh, okay.
romantic interest who's helping him dress up.
Oh, all right.
And
That could be it. Yeah.
maybe she's in on
She
it,
gets
and
wise. She gets wise
yeah.
to his plan, who he really is, but she's like, "Oh, but your intentions are pure, so I'm going to help you fulfill
Or
this
even
need."
maybe it starts out as a joke between the two of them, and then they realize he's good at something or has a passion for something, and then they
Right.
just kind
He
of,
can only be good as a woman. Like he's never been talented or popular, but for some
or he just
reason
didn't
this new
have the
persona.
confidence,
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
So
especially in the 80s, like a man having a any type of passion for anything effeminate would be somewhat taboo.
yes.
So, like what if he just really likes like, like cabaret style performances, but like
Right. So he's a
that's not
cabaret
some
dancer too, or he
which
wants to
is
be
which
cabaret.
is why I thought I had seen this movie, because for some reason in my mind, I
You
was
thought it was
confusing it with
cabaret.
no, I thought it was Birdcage,
Oh.
which is
Birdcage
also
has
a
some
very
cross
funny
dressing too,
movie.
doesn't it?
Yes, it does, and that's a very funny Nathan Lane is fantastic.
And
I
isn't
love
that
that movie.
that's also directed by Mike Nichols, I believe. Hold on.
I couldn't
Before I jump
verify.
off a cliff here, let me check. Yes, yes, it's directed by Mike Nichols, who directed Dustin Hoffman in his breakout role in The Graduate. So we brought it
Oh,
all full circle. There's everything is
interesting.
connected.
Interesting. Okay, well then I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong, exactly. Never, never are you wrong.
But
Especially on
so
this podcast, we're always
yeah,
right here.
no, we're always right. I'm just very looking forward to, getting to view a movie for the first time that does have so much appreciation for it, and that is regarded, as such a amazing film, and amazing comedic film. And like I'm excited that I know as little as I do, because I've realized how much more I enjoy movies not knowing a thing going into them.
Yes.
And I'm so upset with the way that the studios, for the most part nowadays, put out trailers. They give away way too
They
much,
show so much.
and it gives
Older
you these.
trailers were worse. They would literally beat for beat say
Yeah,
Dustin Hoffman is a man, but he
right.
doesn't want to be a man. He wants to be a woman, and so that's what he does. And then he falls in love with the cabaret dancer, and they start to go to dinners. But when she finds out he's really a man, they did, and it like literally goes to the
Is
plot
that
with the
is that the
narrator.
trailer?
I hope so. I can only. I was actually I was just playing the trailer. What you heard was real audio from the Tootsie trailer,
Oh,
the theatrical
fantastic.
trailer. So as you could
No,
tell,
but so I'm excited, just like, okay, so I'm talking about another movie real quick. I just recently saw that movie Barbarian, and I went into the theaters not knowing a thing about it, and I wanted it to be that way, and I enjoyed that movie so
yes,
much by not knowing anything about it. I had so much fun with it, and like it was such a great experience. And I've done that more recently with some newer films where if I'm thinking about seeing them, it's like I don't want to see anything. I don't want to know about it. Like I'd rather just go in blind, because then I have
yeah.
no expectations and I'm not disappointed by my idea of what I thought I was going to see or what I should be seeing, or
Oh, totally. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, that's a really good approach, and I'm drawing a blank trying to think of similar situations. I think maybe the one I can think of is Whiplash. I remember
Mm,
I went to see it not knowing much, but knowing that everyone loved it.
yeah.
And so I was able to kind of experience it without knowing anything aside from the fact that J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller were in it. And not really knowing it was about like, I knew it was like music related, but didn't know
Yeah.
how. But it was great. And you're right. We live in a day and age, especially I think the biggest movies, we get so oversaturated with
Mhm.
trailers and teasers
Social
and ad.
media and memes.
Yes, and everyone is
Mhm.
talking about Stranger Things. Like literally, the show will air, and then the next day someone's posting about the finale, and it's like
Yeah.
literally this just happened. Like what
You
the hell?
almost have to binge everything the minute it comes out in
Yeah,
that regard. But yeah, I've been trying to be more mindful of if there's an actor that I really like, or a director that I really like, or a writer that I really like that has something coming up. I'm trying to be more mindful of not paying attention to trailers and clips like that, because I've realized the enjoyment I've had, like, not that I've like lost enjoyment for watching movies, but we've become so oversaturated with stuff, and it's become such an expectation of what it is we're supposed to be watching, and you just know so much about it going into it, and you kind of do lose enjoyment for it, and
yeah.
you're not as like invested, because it's like, well, what's going to happen? It's like, oh, okay, well, that's the setup to that moment that happened in
Yeah,
the
that was the
trailer.
joke I saw in the trailer, and I know
Yeah.
that guy's not dead because they have to have the
Right.
scene at the end when they fight and he's the hero. Like,
And
yeah, I
then your
totally get it.
brain is too busy piecing those things together, trying to get ahead, that you're not actually enjoying what you're watching, and or you're disappointed because a moment that you saw in the trailer is actually not even in the final cut of the film, and you're like, where the
Yeah.
hell was that joke? Because that was really funny.
Yeah. So this is the best way to watch Tootsie, I think, for both of
I
us.
think so.
It
Yeah.
is
And
amazing that this classic film that is so part of the zeitgeist and so acclaimed and beloved by so many people has not really been spoiled for either of
yeah,
us.
exactly.
I'm
No,
genuinely
and
excited. Yeah.
I kind of feel like our friendship and our doing Some Like It Hot, and
It
just,
depends on whether or not we like if we don't like this, our friendship is over.
well, no, no. What I'm getting at is that the universe has led up both of our lives on paths where we have not viewed Tootsie, either of
Yeah.
us
Right.
individually, so that we, as two friends, could come together through comedy, and
Yes.
it's just reigniting our friendship, and what started out, as such a lovely, um,
Tragic.
tragic, horrible, fantastic thing.
Right. Is fulfilling that promise. It's
Yes, this is the
even more
prophecy.
tragic, even
Yes.
better. The prophecy has been fulfilled.
That's
It's all
right.
led here. The judgment has begun. The four horsemen are on their way. Yes.
Oh.
Oh my God, is what the heavens have opened. Yes, it's all been leading to this.
The
I
comedy
really
gods are smiling upon us.
yes.
Apollo has lifted his skirts. The
Ra
day has been
is
launched.
beaming from above. I think I'm gonna like it. I'm very curious. Again, I'm gonna try to put out of my mind it's the best comedy ever, and try to
Yeah.
watch it just completely like fresh, not knowing anything helps. And
Yes.
I hope I think I will like it. I think we're
I
both gonna
think
like
so.
it.
Yeah,
So
I'm excited.
let's do it. We'll watch it. We'll be back, and we will see what we think. So stay
Bam,
tuned.
bam, bam.
Now available to own on video cassette.
All right, we're back. Carly, how did you feel about Tootsie?
I loved it. I
Oh
I
my
loved it.
goodness.
I was laughing out loud. Okay, my first initial thoughts are that Dustin Hoffman is basically both of the characters in Some Like It Hot, because they're kind of both of those
Yes.
storylines.
Yeah, he really is.
And then it also, like, after, like, as much as I loved it, but then after watching the movie a little bit, I was like, how funny is it that the top two funniest movies of all time are both about cross dressing, where it's not like any kind of sexual thing.
Right.
It's about like women's equality, or women being harassed. Like, those are
Yeah.
the underlying themes in both of them. And
And like, the man making an extraordinarily attractive woman that no older gentleman can resist, and they like
Yes.
come on to him, her, quote unquote, uh embarrassingly or like
Yeah.
shamelessly. It's
And as much as I loved it and as much fun as I had with it, at the end of it, like just sitting there thinking about it for a second, I was like, we've learned nothing. Like,
that's kind of how I
this
felt.
is
I
like,
did.
we're poking fun at this. So we're all aware of this and we're all okay with this. Cause like I experienced that to this day. And I'm not trying to like harp on any of that because I'm so not like that. But like,
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, as a man disguised as a woman, as you are very experienced, and this hit, I think, a nerve for
constantly.
you. Yeah,
It does.
yeah.
No, it was just I just thought it was so funny that those are considered the top 2 funniest movies, and they're almost essentially the same movie.
That's what I kept thinking too. So I liked it. I wasn't bowled over by it. And I think you touched on the reason why, which is at the end of this one, and Some Like It Hot, I love, and that's
Yeah.
not news to anybody here. I don't think uh uh this movie, not that it doesn't hold a candle to it, but I left Some Like It Hot feeling very, very satisfied by the film. And this one I felt
Yes.
kind of the same way of like, well, that was funny, but like the again, it's working against it being so
Yeah.
highly esteemed. I kind of felt like, is that it? And
Yeah, well,
that was not the feeling I had with Some Like It Hot.
not at all, and I think part of that comes from the fact at the end of Some Like It Hot, like, the characters still don't get what they want.
Yeah.
Dustin Hoffman basically gets what he wants. He kind of gets off scot free.
Yeah, there are no
And
consequences really. Like there's
none.
his agent who is played by Sidney Pollack, the
I
director, and
loved that. I
he's
loved
amazing.
that. He is
He's
so
amazing.
good.
He apparently did not want to play the agent. Like Dustin Hoffman basically
Yes.
forced him to do it.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw that. He
but
sent him flowers.
yeah, exactly. But like
Yeah.
there's a scene where the agent is like, "You're going to ruin your career. You're going to ruin my career. Everything's
Mhm.
going to be over." But then like he reveals it and it's funny, and the girl Jessica Lange punches him in the balls and it's like wah wah wah. And then
Did she? Or I thought it was the stomach. I thought she just gut punched him.
oh, maybe she might have. I thought it was like, "Oh, I'm going to like, because you turned out to be a man, I'm going to strip you of your manhood
Well, what
regardless."
I thought was so weird with that whole situation, and like in Some Like It Hot, he wasn't using like moments as a woman to get close to Sugar as much. Like he was kind of finding out stuff about her, but like with this movie, he verbatim repeated this speech that she said in private, which I was just like, what is he doing? But it was also very funny. And of course, she threw a drink in his face because no
Yes,
woman
yeah.
really wants that. They don't want to be told, like, hey, let's just have sex. Like, that's
Yeah.
not what it is. I mean, women do maybe want, not all women, but what I think she was trying to get across was more like she would like a man with confidence to come up to her and be like, you're beautiful, like, and her feel good about that. But like the way of just like, it was just so wrong. Everything
Yeah.
he was doing was so
Well,
wrong.
and also so I think there's a key component here that I think is missing, and it's why
Mhm.
the movie didn't fully work for me. And it's the idea that he is supposed to have learned something from being a woman,
Oh
and
yeah, like he's a better man now.
yeah, but it wasn't like he was the worst man on the planet. Like he
No.
was just like down on his luck and kind of a brat and a snob. Um
I loved that scene with his agent, the director, when he was like telling him why nobody would work with him. And he was like, you were supposed to do a tomato for 30 seconds and you went a half day over because you wouldn't sit down. And he was like, you're a tomato, you don't think, you don't move. And he's like, exactly.
He's like, then how do you know to sit down? Yeah.
How would a tomato sit down? I was the most gorgeous beefsteak tomato anybody's ever seen.
Right. So the movie, it's like his goal is to like get an acting role that will
Yes.
fund his friend's play.
Bill
But
Murray,
then the
his
movie,
roommate.
yeah, Bill Murray, who I had no idea was in the movie, and that was
I
great.
know, because he intentionally did not want any kind of recognition at all, because
Yeah,
that was like his own practical joke on just everybody.
that's amazing.
And
And
all of his lines were improvised.
yeah, he apparently, which doesn't surprise me in the
But
slightest.
also because of, like, that character did not, when I was like researching, that character just didn't exist in the script. And like
it's Bill Murray. My guess is Bill Murray just showed up one day and they're like, "Hey, let's just put him in the movie. Why not?"
he is so good in this movie.
He is
And
really good. Yeah.
all of those little moments that he has where he's like the helpful friend, but he's also like, come on, man, like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like,
I think the issue I have is that the movie, the setup for this character, like who he is and what he wants, does not match the outcome for what where he ends up. Like he's not
yeah.
like, if I don't know if this is too on the nose or too explicit. I don't really care, but for me, I think the movie would have worked better, or it would have been more successful at what it was trying to do at the end of everything if he'd been kind of a womanizing jackass, and then he
But
learns
he
that
was.
he was kind of, but I
Are
didn't.
you kidding me? In that opening party scene, he's
Yeah,
hitting
he's
on all
walking
these
around
ladies, and at one of those ladies, he's like, "Well, get your number. I can't meet up tonight." She's like, "I just gave you my number. Oh, I thought maybe you changed that from an hour ago. Oh, you're right." Like,
I didn't get the vibe from that though, that he's like a jerk. Like it was just like, oh, he's just like hitting on everybody. But like,
what do you mean?
I didn't
He's
feel
not
like
a jerk.
I
The
didn't feel like
second
he was
he's
a
seen
jerk.
without his clothes on because he's about to try on her dress. Which
Yes,
I'm
that
sorry, why are
is-
you trying on her clothes? And then he sleeps with her.
And also, he starts trying on her clothes when the shower stops. Like you can hear
Yeah.
the shower stop, and he's like, "I'm gonna just strip naked." And when she comes out, he's like, "Oh no!" And I was like, "Okay, that was a little much." And then she's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "I love you." I was like, "This is getting very slapsticky very quickly." But
Well,
I didn't feel
apparent-
like he was just like a complete total pig. Like with that relationship, yeah, but like I don't know, there was something not necessarily like, I didn't feel like he got a comeuppance, if
But
that
what do
makes
you-
sense.
But also, like, in that other woman at the party where he was like, I want you to be the last one to take your coat off my bed. And she was like, okay. And he was like, we can just talk. We can just stay up and talk. And he tells to every single woman, wow, what a great face. You look like you could be an actress.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Are you
true.
kidding me, Shawn? He's
Maybe
a
I
total
needed,
fucking
you know what I
creep.
needed? I needed for him to like sleep around, or like I needed
He
the
was
moments
trying
where
to, but he couldn't get any because he was short.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. So maybe it's not his fault after all. Maybe I'm completely misreading this.
He was totally being a creep, in my opinion, and he
Okay.
was using his theater prowess and being like, you could make anything you want. You know, my friend and I, we're gonna raise the thing and we're gonna produce it ourselves, and you know, like, oh, you should be an actress. Like, and also then he sleeps with his friend. Like,
Yeah.
it
But that
just
was almost like that was more of a joke. Like it was like, oh, I love you. Let's sleep. Like as a like, I have to figure out something to get out of this. I took that less as like he's sleazy and more of like, oh, it's like supposed to be funny
Couldn't
because he
he
got
just
caught.
be like, I spilled something on myself. I came in here looking for a robe.
Oh
Like,
no.
it just, the first thing he goes to is, let me just fuck her.
That's true. I mean, you bring up a good point. I don't know.
And then he
I guess I
also,
didn't feel
like,
I didn't feel like there was enough of a like he was so sleazy because
all
it was
he cared about, and like, he wanted the $8,000. That's what he needed.
yeah.
First thing, when he's reading for the lines, he's like, look at this babe. It's like, you're a woman right now, sir. Like, what are you doing? Focus on the task at hand. What are
That's
you
true.
talking about,
He can
Shawn?
bear-
He was a
he can
perv. He was a horny
barely-
man-child.
It's true. He can barely function when he walks into the dressing room and
Oh
Gina
my God.
Gina Davis is just
Yeah,
in her
also, I'm
underwear.
sorry. What was she doing in her underwear all the time?
Yes, like the skimpiest underwear
And it was
all
like,
the time.
just bending over and twisting, and it's like, what are you even doing? Are you stretching, or those calisthenics? Like,
Yeah.
must be some like 80s workout. But I read a thing about her because that was her first movie that she ever did, and she only filmed 6 days because she was a pretty small part. But
Mhm.
she showed up every single day because she didn't know that you only had to be there the days that you were working.
Oh, that's
But
adorable.
and she just sat in a chair, at the Video Village and
Just hung out.
just hung out. So
I
I
mean,
thought
like,
that was really cute.
yeah, if it's your first movie and you don't know like where your career is gonna go from
And
there, also I could
yeah.
justify it. Like, oh yeah, it's fun to go. Like it's a pretty big Hollywood production. Dustin
And
Hoffman
if
is a
she was some
star.
kind of nuisance, they would have said, "Hey, you don't need to be here." So obviously,
Right.
it was fine. But I thought that was cute, that she, has been like, "I didn't know I wasn't supposed to be there every day."
Right. Yeah, how did you feel about I was actually kind of shocked how quickly cuz the movie it's very well shot. It's like very grounded. Like I was surprised by how grounded it felt in the
There
beginning where it
were
was
a
like, "Oh, it's
couple weird edits for me.
which edits?"
Okay, so when he goes from being in his agent's office at the very beginning to then being like to me and his agent being like, "You're nobody will work with you. Nobody's gonna hire you." And he goes, "Oh yeah."
And then
And
it
then it
cuts
just
to him as a
immediately cuts
woman.
exactly
That
amongst a
threw me
crowd of
off. I
people.
was not like I felt like I I because that shot is very famous of him walking in the
Of
crowd
course.
as
And
a woman.
I recognized him because the one image that I had ever really seen or recognized was like that red sequin dress.
Yeah.
And so that's why when we were talking about it earlier, I was like, oh, maybe it's some kind of cabaret or, whatever like that. But
Right.
no, it's kind of more a Mrs. Doubtfire
Oh, totally.
situation,
Yeah.
And I immediately recognized him, but so that was kind of a jarring edit. But then the other one that I thought was very bizarre because there was no other moment like this when she said she had never been married. Sorry, Julie and Dorothy were having dinner for the first time.
Mhm.
And Julie's like, "Oh yeah, I've never been married." And then Dustin Hoffman as Dorothy goes to pour a glass of wine because now they're gonna have a glass of wine. And then all of a sudden it cuts back to Julie making meatballs or something in a different outfit and just kind of turning around for a second, and then it cuts back to Dustin Hoffman as Dorothy just sitting down and looking at her while they're talking.
I didn't even notice that. How funny.
I I didn't understand what that was about. I didn't know what at first I was kind of like, okay, now she's cooking, but then it's like, well, then it cuts back to her and she's cooking and she's in different clothes and I couldn't understand what that was other than him fantasizing or having kind of a daydream about
Oh
her.
yeah, maybe
But
that's
there
what it
was
was supposed to
never
be.
another moment where he did that.
Right, right. I think that the switch I was not expecting it, and maybe it's because I mean, and in some Like It Hot, it's very similar, where it's like one scene they're like, "I know what we can do," and then all of a sudden they're like women running to catch the train, and
But
you're like, "Oh, that's." But for some reason, it felt because the movie I think is so grounded in its cinematography and its production
yeah.
design and in the world it's building, when he's all of a sudden like he's like, "You're never gonna make it as a star in this city," and he goes, "Oh yeah," and then it cuts to him as a woman. It's like, where did that leap come from? Where he's like, "I'm going to prove it by auditioning for this role as a
Yes.
woman." It was a
Yeah,
major leap.
exactly. It's like, well, oh, what? And then also when he goes to meet his agent after he's landed this role, which that scene was so funny.
It's
When
very good.
oh my
Yes.
gosh, it was so good. And the agent was like, "You're never gonna fool anybody." He's like, "I already am." And then, oh hi, and
Yeah.
but so in that scene, he even says you got to lend me $1,000 till payday. So what for? It's like, you think I can only wear this? I need something else to wear. Well, okay, then so that means did you have these clothes before or where did you get
Where did it
them?
come from?
That wig, those glasses, where did how did I would have liked to have seen if you're not going to tell us what's going on, show him going into a thrift store and looking at ladies' clothes. That's it.
Yeah, yes.
And then
Or
it would
like,
have very
you
much
know,
been okay, that makes sense now. I don't hear about it, but I'm seeing some, well, what's he doing?
like he's got,
Oh.
oh, we're connecting the dots now. And like, you know,
Yes.
Mrs. Doubtfire has a whole sequence where like he like visits
The
his
face
brother who's a
yeah,
makeup artist and they
exactly. And
show like trying
do the
on
life
different
cast
things.
and the prosthetics and they
Yeah,
do the
it's
dental and yeah, all that stuff.
there's not even like a moment where Dustin Hoffman, Michael, his character, says like something like, I could be versatile, I could play men, I can play women,
Yeah.
like I played a woman, or like, you know, something that even suggests that he'd be willing to make that leap.
I mean,
It
he was willing to play an endive salad, so
it's true.
you
So
know, if
maybe
you can play a
that was
salad, you
supposed to
can
explain it.
probably play a woman.
It's true. I mean, it's practically the same. So I agree. I thought that was a very, like, for the movie to feel so grounded, and it did a really good job, kind of like, it's funny, but it's not zany. It
Yeah.
really teetered over the edge to zany very quickly. Like, it
And
was
I
like, oh, now it's the movie where a guy dresses up as a woman in auditions and gets the role.
Yeah, and I also really enjoyed like his vanity and the fact that he knew he was an unattractive woman, but like, you know, like wanted to be more attractive and was trying. And
Yeah.
also the same thing with Some Like It Hot, where they were like, we're not attractive women, you know, but they were trying at least. And it
Yes.
was just, they were also appalled and disgusted by the men that were interested in them because they were like,
Yes.
what about me?
It's got to be just, they're so charming and so witty, and it's like nothing I've ever seen before. And this movie's trying to pull off the same thing of like, oh, he's really a man and a woman couldn't do this for herself. Like, couldn't stand up
Yeah,
for herself. There's a lot of stuff
exactly.
what's Jessica Lange's character? Julie.
Julie.
Julie is like, you taught me to stand up for myself. And I'm like, did I don't see any evidence of that. I guess you walked out on the director, but we didn't even
Yeah,
see that happen.
exactly. And that's the other thing too. I mean, I understand, you know, like different times, you know, there were different work environments. And even now, you know, sometimes there's environments where like as a woman, you don't always feel like you can really speak up for yourself
Sure.
because of you just you're viewed differently, and then sometimes you're immediately viewed a certain way just by being a woman, so you almost just want to like make as little a fuss as possible so people don't think you're difficult, and it, you know, like,
Mm.
so I feel like in that sense, like in that world, it would make sense, especially in the film industry, of these women not making a fuss about something, the actresses like not making a fuss about it, especially on daytime television for a soap
Right.
opera. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah.
they'll throw you down an elevator shaft the next day if you're like being a pain in the ass and
Yeah.
kill your character off and replace you. So like I could understand why none of those women would really speak up for themselves, and Dustin Hoffman being already like it's established that he is a pain to work with and he quits jobs over like direction because he doesn't
Yes.
agree with the director. So he would be standing up for himself, and then a woman seeing another woman do that and get a positive response, it might, you know, enlist her into then standing up for herself. So
That's
like
what I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of Julie doing that, or even like the
mhm,
other women on set. Because there's the one woman
the
who,
producer.
yeah, the producer who's kind of like Michael's ally, Dorothy's ally,
Mhm.
but you don't really get a sense of like, they talk about it like all the women around, like my secretary, she's talking back to me like Dorothy, and I'm about to
I'm ready
fire
to
her.
fire her.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but it's
thought
like,
there were lines like that that cracked me up.
yeah,
Like
and it's funny, but it's like, it would have been really, I think it would have been even better if like during the quick montage where it shows how Dorothy is gaining fame, like if you have little snippets of like just random women in their everyday lives, like standing
yeah.
up to their husbands, or the male boss figure in their life, and like
Yeah, we
just
didn't
showing the impact, because they talk about it but you don't really see it.
well, what we did see is montages of women watching it on that little Sony personal
Right.
television,
Yeah.
which was such an ad for that. Those ladies playing bridge and they're
I
all
know, I want one
watching. So
myself,
they're
my
just
goodness.
watching it, but they're doing things where they're working silently by themselves or
Yeah.
playing bridge with other ladies. They're not, yeah,
It
exactly.
would have been
So
funny, like, if the husband comes in and is like, "I'm ready for dinner," and she's like, "Make your own dinner." What? And
yeah,
it's just
make
like,
me dinner.
yeah, exactly. So I wanted more of that, and I particularly with Julie's character, it would have been really nice to see her kind of. She's pretty like she's very sweet and soft spoken, and she's
Yeah.
lovely, but like you never see her kind of stand up for herself in a way that I really was hoping to see. It was really, I thought their relationship was really touching, and I loved
Yeah.
that, like, how many movies, even though this movie I think is kind of a consequence free, kind of goofy, wacky, kind of plot and things happen where you're like, I can't believe this is never addressed again. But I did really enjoy the fact that they never have a conventional romance, that at the end it's not like, oh, I love you, let's like kiss and get married. It's just like, I really liked being your friend and I want to be your friend. And I thought that was very touching. But I
You
really,
thought it was just a friend thing? Because I thought at the end she goes off with him.
well, I think because they don't kiss and there's no like cuddling, and she kind of like,
What are you talking about?
there's a
They put their
freeze frame.
arms around each
Yeah,
other.
well, there's a freeze frame where she like hugs him, but I didn't feel like it was a big romance thing. Like, I think if it
He
was that,
even
they
said,
would have
like,
kissed.
the hard part is already over.
Yeah. He's like, we're
Which is,
already friends. Well, if she had kissed him, I would have felt like, oh, it's a romance. But the fact that she didn't, and it was more like, let's
see, I
continue to get
read
to
that
know each other.
differently. I thought she was walking away with him being like, okay, I'm going to give you a chance.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it had to be that, but I think it could have ended with them like arms wrapped around each other, kissing and like a big romantic gesture. And it was more like subtle and sweet than that. At least it was to me.
But I just wish that, like, it hadn't been that way.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
What would
okay,
you
the other
prefer?
thing, too, is Jessica Lange's character. Obviously, at one point, Dustin Hoffman professes his love for her, but
Mhm.
as Dorothy,
Yes.
because when we saw before, when he did it as Dustin Hoffman, when he saw her at that party, she threw the champagne in his face because
Right.
he was being a total creep.
As anybody would, because God, he's so short.
He's so short, unbelievably so. But so he tries to kiss her, and of course now Jessica Lange thinks that Dorothy's a lesbian and
Mhm.
is like, well, I love you, but I can't love you, and
Yeah.
doesn't want to be friends with Dorothy even anymore. Like, so it was just so weird to me that Dorothy, as a woman who had upset you and you kind of had this beef with now because of what you felt she had maybe done to your father, even though Dorothy was trying to let her father down, and then he
Mhm.
proposed to her.
Right.
So, and was like, don't say anything right now. Like, even if it's a no, just tell me later so I'll at least feel you considered it.
That was
And
like another logic leap moment that felt very similar to seeing Dustin Hoffman dressed walking down the street. Like, I was like, wait, now he's proposing to her? This is too much.
yes, and so then, and it was also very much like, and don't say anything to me right now, just
Yeah.
wait. And so then Dustin Hoffman was trying to let him down easy and being told to wait, and then the next time he sees Jessica Lange, she's like, you obviously didn't say anything to my father. And it's like, well, he was trying to, but he couldn't. And then she doesn't even want to hang out with him as Dorothy anymore because of that whole kiss thing. And
Right.
again, they never really talked about it. So they like, she was just like already being like, hey, I really like being a friend with you, but I can't be your friend anymore. You hurt my dad. Like, I'm not into lesbians. And because you tried to kiss me, if we're friends, I'm going to be leading you on. Now,
Mhm.
all of a sudden, Dorothy's a man. All of that other stuff goes out the window. And now they're
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah, I feel like they added the scene with him and her dad to be like, see, he's not such a terrible person. He went and apologized. But it is funny that they spend more time with Michael apologizing to Julie's dad than they do with Michael
Yes.
really apologizing to her. He does, but it is
No,
very
and
quick.
in his apology, one of the things she's like, "Okay, well, can I have this one outfit?" Now that he's not dressing as a woman anymore, he gives her a tough time and is like, "The Halston? I don't think so." And she's like,
Oh,
"Please." And it's like, "What? You bought her dad beers, who also said, well, you got sixpence,' which I'm what? What? Where? Who's? Where are we? When
I
are
don't know.
we?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I mean, but the line, I was a better man with you as a woman than I ever was with a woman as a man
You know
is
what I mean?
fantastic.
And she goes, no.
It's great. That was a great line.
Some
But
of
that's
my favorite lines were okay at the beginning, that birthday party. Bill Murray goes, I want a theater that's only open during the rain. um, that other line where Dustin Hoffman goes to help their friend Sandy
Mm-hmm.
practice her lines, and she's like, "How am I going to get mad again tomorrow morning?" He's like, "Fine, I'll pick you up at 10 and then I'll
Yeah.
enrage you." And then they take her, she goes to the audition and she's like, "Okay, thank you." He's like, "Fuck you." She's like, "Wish me luck." "Fuck you." All right.
I was like, what's this movie rated? You were allowed to say that in a
Did you?
PG film?
It was PG
Yeah.
and then it got a PG-13 rating, I think like a year later is what I read.
Yeah, PG-13 wasn't it. They didn't create the rating until 84 when Temple of Doom came out. And then they were like, we should probably create another rating because that
Yeah.
was too violent to be PG.
Yeah. No, and then after Dorothy tries to kiss uh Julie and she's all freaking out and the phone rings, she picks something up that's
Oh yeah, the
not the
corn
phone.
cob.
He goes, "That's a corn cob."
That's a corn cob. I wrote that down too. And that, you know what I want more than anything? I want for that to have been improvised. Like
Ah,
that was like a complete accident and he goes, "That's a corn cob," and she picks
yeah.
up the phone. It just felt so natural and so like I could have seen that being a completely unintentional mistake and him in character just
Just
reacting the way
doing
he did.
it. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
with him and Bill Murray, when Dustin Hoffman was putting on clothes for the first time, he was going to be having dinner at Julie's house, and they're talking about like what is he going to wear, and he's like, Bill Murray goes, "Well, you've not worn that white thing yet," and he's like, "What, white to a casual first dinner? No, that's way too formal." And he's all getting upset, and he's like, "Well, what about this dress? No, I don't have the shoes for that. Well, what about this? What about the stripes? No, I don't like the way it makes me look hippie and it cuts me weird up here." And then Bill Murray is like, "Well, we're starting to reach uncomfortable territory." And all of that being improvised, they're so
It's
funny.
great.
He's
Like
like, "Well,
what does
what
he say?
about pants?" And he
What does he
looks at
say?
his butt and he's
Yeah.
like, "With this, no."
The hospital. What does he say? He's like, "This hospital is crazy," or
Yeah,
something
this
like
is
that.
a crazy
Yeah,
hospital.
it's so funny. But I like I really like all of those lines. I loved the after he's removed all his makeup and revealed himself as a man, at the very end of it, the guy goes, "Does Jeff know?"
And also when the director goes, "I knew there was a reason she
Right.
didn't like me."
Right. But there's also like the director. See, to me, that the director is more sleazy than Dustin Hoffman's character, and we
Oh, of
don't see him get
course.
a comeuppance either. Like he kind of
Nobody
just
gets a
disappears.
comeuppance. And
Yeah.
all of the women are still in the same spot, if not worse off. Like,
Right.
and that's kind of one of the things that at the end of the movie, it made me like feel a little sad
Yeah.
about the fact that these ideas like of what women go through on a daily basis just socially and that kind of clearly transcends generations where it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be obviously, but it's
Yeah.
still very prevalent and culturally all over the world, it's still pretty terrible. And the fact that the top two funniest movies of all time both talk about those topics and we're just like laughing about it, but we're all still dealing with it. And
Yeah.
I just don't understand like the idea of like it only being able to be discussed in a funny and a joking context. Like it almost seems like, okay, well, the only way we can get men to understand what we're going through is to make a comedic.
A wacky comedy about
Yeah,
it. And I
about a
think I
guy who doesn't really get it. Like,
yeah. I wish Tootsie has these really sweet quiet moments
yes,
where you can tell Michael is starting to recognize like, oh, Julie is a person.
yes,
And I've been ignoring her feelings and I see her now. I understand
yeah,
her. Like it's very sweet, but you're absolutely right. There was an opera, and this is 1982, so
yeah,
I think the movie really, it leans very heavily on the goofy wackiness of Dustin Hoffman is a woman.
hmm,
Like it's that, and then it was the same for Some Like It Hot, but like Tootsie, the movie feels like it has something thoughtful and meaningful to say about it that it does kind of say, but it doesn't fully commit to it or embrace it in the way
yeah,
I think I felt would have been as emotional and effective. And it could have still have been just as funny. The movie's it's whack. It gets very wacky and
It
like
does.
it gets kind of slapsticky, but it's relatively grounded, and there is room for the film to explore that. And it's like the things that we talked about, like, just showing women standing up for themselves, like, oh, there's
Mhm.
a real like there's a shift in the way society works now. Like, you really started a movement. Like, I wish we could have seen more of that, and especially I
Yeah.
think it would have been good to see it in Julie's character, whereas she's kind of just sort of a pushover, and she claims, like, I remember when she says the line, like, you really taught me to stand up for myself. I wrote down, I was like, did he? Like,
Yeah,
what are you
how?
talking about? He didn't
How?
really, because we haven't seen any evidence of it. And then she, like, the only reason she stands up for herself is because he betrayed her and she's mad at him, justifiably so. But then it's like we never see her stand up to the director. Like, I don't even think she really talks about, like, she is clearly
She
upset by
stands up
this
to
date.
Dorothy.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
but
It's
like
like,
that's
okay.
not who she needed to stand up to. She needed to stand up to, like, the toxic relationships in her life. Dorothy needs to have inspired her, and then it hurts all the more when Dorothy, betrays her, that ultimate betrayal. So some of that stuff is there, but for a movie that is this highly acclaimed and beloved, to have like dropped the ball on these like thematic elements, to me makes it feel like, so we're really just enjoying like the goofiness of Dustin Hoffman's character and his performance, which is great, and the movie is
Yeah.
funny, but it's not like, doesn't quite transcend to the level of like greatness that I
Well,
feel
and
like some people think.
at one point, like, Dustin Hoffman even calls Leslie, not Lester, which during the proposal he's like, Lester, Leslie, because he's only called him Les the whole time. And it's like, this man's
Yes.
proposing to you, you don't even know his name. But
Right.
he describes him as being the sweetest man in the world.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I thought was real creepy. Like, so
He was. That's what I'm saying. It's like the movie like has these grounded moments, then punctuated by these like slapstick, completely zany
yeah.
circumstances that, like, in Some Like It Hot, Some Like It Hot gets away with it. Like when the guy starts like going after what's his name, and it ends with the perfect punchline of, wow, nobody's perfect. Like,
Yeah, but that was
it's
so
it's
funny.
sweet and it's funny and it's like you go with it, whereas this, it was like, oh, my mom's been dead, like this very heartfelt, touching, like,
Yeah, no,
admission,
this
like,
one was more
Julie's vulnerable,
predatory.
and then it's
Yeah.
just like, my dad's never loved someone, and then it's just treated as a joke. He's like, I've got to marry you, we've known each other for like literally 3 hours, and now I'm gonna propose
Well,
to
okay,
you.
let me ask you this, Sean. What how long of a how long did this movie take place for? Like, what was
I don't know, because I know he
because
mentions the opening montage, apparently when he walked out on the Tolstoy performance where he
that was
wouldn't
like
walk
2
sinners.
years
Yeah,
ago.
they go, oh, that was 2 years ago, and it was like,
Okay.
oh, all right, wow,
But
okay.
when Julie is telling Dorothy that she can no longer be around her, she says these last couple of weeks have been so great. So it's maybe been 2 weeks since Dustin Hoffman
Well,
has started the show.
did she mean like, when, since he's come to visit her? Because the implication is that they've just finished a whole season of,
But
but I guess
Dorothy's
soap operas
character
are,
came on in the middle of the series. It
oh,
was
that's
just all of a
true,
sudden,
yeah.
and the way that soaps worked, and they show that too, is like if you had a scene that didn't get finished or needed to be reshot and you didn't have time to tape it, you were
You did
doing
it
it
live.
live that day.
Yeah, that's
And so,
true.
like,
Oh my god.
soaps, they were just constantly doing them and constantly bringing in new characters and
Yeah.
seeing what was working and what was sticking. And then all of a sudden there was a new spike in letters. And but so, like, she said a couple of weeks since we've been hanging out. Okay, but she was friends with her after like her first day. They show
Yeah.
that. Would you read lines with me? And it's like,
Right. Right.
so it's been 2 weeks since you've gotten all of these photos and your publicity. You're on all the covers of these magazines. Like, I don't understand the
How time
time.
works. That's a really good point. Yeah,
They
it's
didn't
not
show any
well.
kind of seasons, and it's New
No.
York City, so there would be like everybody was wearing coats all the time. So like
Yeah,
it
when is
couldn't
this?
it was probably fall or winter, maybe very early spring, but
Yeah, and
obviously it didn't span a very great deal of time, but it
yeah.
felt like it was a year.
It did feel like that. I kind of was I didn't even notice that line and how like, "Wait a second, how long is this?" And it's
Yeah, when
because, like,
she
they
said a
throw
couple of weeks, if she had said a few, it would have been like, okay, maybe it's been like maybe a
a
couple
month or
months.
2, yeah.
Yeah, but a couple of weeks means 2 weeks. Two
Yes,
weeks.
yes, exactly. So, the montage they thrown in the middle also kind of emphasizes, like, all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, you're an icon, you're famous," and it was like, "Well, that happened really quickly."
And
Like,
also, how would nobody like if she's getting all of these photos taken and all of this recognition, nobody's interviewing her?
right, they should have had at least one interview.
And somebody being like, "Well, where's Dorothy from?
And
Where'd you
also,
go to high school?"
well, does it seem weird to you that they never actually address the stage play that Bill Murray is putting on? Like, he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna go write in my room," but it's
Well,
weird that it's like that's the whole reason he did this, was to earn money for a
but
stage
he
play that
does
we
talk
never
about it a
see.
lot.
Yeah, he talks about it like, "Oh yeah,
And
I'm gonna
like
do
you
this,"
gotta
but then
rewrite the necktie scene. Oh, great! Did you get rid of the necktie? No, that's the whole thing that's keeping this play from being any
right.
good is the necktie, which that's even funnier because
Just
it's
to
like
not explain it, but just to
yeah,
talk
and
about
then I
that.
love when his agent is like, I'm not going to read your play about people going and living next to like chemical waste. If they wanted to see that, they could go to Jersey.
Right. Oh, poor Jersey. Bruce Springsteen was born there. Does that mean anything? Does
Have
that
you
mean nothing
you've
to
driven on
society?
the Jersey Turnpike
Oh god,
before? It
boy have
reeks.
I. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it
bad. It's not
stinks.
good.
It's not
Yeah.
Jersey's fault necessarily, but it
But it
is
kind
their
of is.
chemical plants.
You know what other scene was I think got the biggest laugh from me was when Sydney Pollack and Dustin Hoffman are talking about like she asked me if I was gay and but
Oh
Dorothy's
yeah.
not a lesbian. No, no, she's straight. It's like, wait, then who's I don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
It
he's
was
getting
so
so
funny.
confused. I
Yes.
also love when Dustin Hoffman was trying to be like, you should get me a special. I could talk to these women and other women like me. He's like, there are no other women like you. What are you talking about? You're a man. Yes, but I know what it is to be cut down and to not like, and to have a job finally and have no say. And it's like he thinks he understands what it's like because he's been a woman for 2 weeks.
Yes, for 2 weeks.
But I
Yeah, he
also
knows.
love just all of these like revelations he had, which I thought was really, really funny. Like when he first goes out and buys all these clothes and makeup and hair and everything, he's like, I don't understand how women these days can try and stay beautiful without starving. And
Right.
he's like, those women, I was like, I tried to get a really nice handbag, but they were willing to fight. I'm willing to bet that the woman who got that handbag did time. Now I don't have a nice handbag. And there are just all these really funny lines and moments where he was like talking about women's gripes and struggles that he had
Yeah.
never understood before that still today like it is expensive to be a lady like
Yeah.
the all of the different beauty products the industries that are entirely marketed towards the idea that women need to stay youthful and look a certain kind of way. It's like billions of dollars a year women around the world are spending money on trying to uphold a certain beauty standard, and it's just like it's this like movie was clearly ahead of his time, but it was just like really funny to see some of those jokes that still make sense today, but it
Right.
also made me a little bummed out to be
Well,
like, have
because
we
so
learned nothing?
the movie's 40 years old now.
Yeah.
This year, as of this year, this is the
Yes.
40th anniversary. So yeah, it's very relevant. And then I am not vouching for a remake. I mean, we've seen, I mean, obviously like Mrs. Doubtfire and films that are totally trying to be this movie because
Yeah, we talked
clearly
like Joanna Man and
Joanna Man. Wow, that's a movie I completely forgot existed until just now. Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome. You're
Carly.
welcome.
But
That
like
gem.
I almost feel like there is I wish this movie had been willing to go there a little bit more because like you're describing it, like it has these it's smart and it's perceptive, but it doesn't fully commit to
Yeah.
addressing the seriousness and like the unfortunate like situation.
But I
It
think nobody would have watched it
It's
if it
true.
had
It's the same
more.
thing as it's what Sydney Pollack's character said. It's like nobody
Yeah.
wants to see that like real life nonsense.
No.
They want to see fun. Yeah. So
No, and I
that's
also
fair.
feel like I I mean, I could be very wrong in this and my assumption, but I feel like only recently we've started to see films more so that have a serious tone to this exact kind of thing.
Was that your dog? Does your dog
Yeah.
have a thought?
Yeah, no, he's upset about it as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
apparently.
but like only more recently we've seen films come out about like what women deal with sexual harassment or just sexism in general,
Right.
like Bombshell, uh what was that one, that Promising Young Woman,
Mm.
like, and those were more serious. There were like, but I feel like people don't care about that as much, especially like the movie making industry, and especially back then. It's like you
Mm.
can laugh about this and make fun of it, but we're not going to take it seriously. So
Yeah.
like it can be
Well,
silly.
there is I think the movie is unfortunately too silly. And I think comedy is a really effective way of not being too preachy. Like
Yes.
I think there is an effective comedy, and there probably is one that I'm not even thinking of, that it's like, oh yeah, that actually does touch on the subject. The movie like does a decent job of like addressing, but it doesn't really commit to it. It's almost like it comments on it without fully like
Right.
saying, we like, but it could have gone there a little bit more without forfeiting the comedy of the situation, if that
Right.
makes
Well,
sense.
and also, I mean, the fact that it was like written by men and produced by men and directed by men. So, like, there's,
Right.
a lot of like, they definitely were trying to tackle a difficult subject, of course. And it was a very funny movie. And there were, even as silly as it was, I read a original script of the screenplay because it was originally a play. But
Oh
the
wow.
screenplay, which also, I guess, like, the Tootsie that I thought was out here was definitely the musical version, which I don't know how you make this into a musical, but okay.
I mean,
I'm
I
sure
could
it's
see it.
fantastic
I
and I'm
could
sure
see
I
it.
would love
Yeah.
it, but it's also, it's like, okay, Little Shop of Horrors, or like,
Right.
but so uh oh, I totally got sidetracked and forgot what I was gonna
You
say.
were just gonna say you want Tootsie the musical is what you want it, and you want to be in it.
I would love to see it. I would love to watch it. I think it would be grand.
Yeah. How do you feel about Tootsie? Like you said, I guess I could see this on the top 100 funniest films list, or some funniest films list, but like greatest films ever. How do you feel about that? Is there a disservice against this movie by placing it on that list?
You know, I can see why it is. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to say.
Okay,
Okay.
go with that. Yeah.
In one of the original scripts, there were a lot more bathroom jokes and anatomy jokes.
Oh,
And
okay.
Sidney Pollack was like, nah. So, like,
Oh,
it
that's kind of
probably
nice.
would have been a lot sillier had those moments been included in it. So the campness totally was brought down. But, like, I mean, if you're putting this on, like, I kind of almost feel like it I think it's great. It is a really great movie, but it just apes so much of Some Like It Hot
Hmm.
without being, I think, as effective or as like the like giving a more satisfying ending. Um I don't That's so tough because I mean, who am I to say what should and
Sure.
shouldn't be on any list? But I don't know if it should be even in the top 10 funniest movies of all time.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it there if I was in charge of like compiling the list.
I
Whereas
did
Some Like
laugh
It
out
Hot, I
loud.
would. I
Yeah.
think Some Like It Hot was more like it would. It was punch for punch, like punchline for
Yeah.
punchline, funnier than Tootsie for
And
sure.
also, Some Like It Hot has so much more depth than Tootsie.
Yeah, it does.
And the
And
stakes are
ironically,
so much
it's
higher than Tootsie, and,
yeah.
like, just all of the filmmaking in general, the way it starts off, the way it wraps up, like, the things that I get upset about in that movie, I can forgive way more easily than the things that I get upset about in this movie.
Yeah, Tootsie, like the pieces don't quite fit as well together, whereas Some Like It Hot, it's pretty perfect. Even
And
with
also
even with the gangster subplot, which is like,
yes,
what? This is
but also
crazy.
the title for it to be called Tootsie is kind of weird too because of that entire monologue that Dustin Hoffman had about like my name is Dorothy. You don't call this guy by anything other than his name. You call him by his name. You call him by his name. You
Right.
call why do you keep calling me babe, toots, whatever? Like no, it's Dorothy. And I
Then
totally feel
yeah,
that because I have been in situations in the workplace like that before where it's like, why, like, because I'm a woman, you're going to call me babe or like hun, or, but everyone else you call by their name.
right.
Like, I know what you're doing and it's belittling. So stop.
Yeah.
But like, so
Then the movie's called
why
that.
exactly?
Yeah.
That was so weird to me. Like that, especially if Dustin, I genuinely thought that Dustin Hoffman's character was named Tootsie. I thought that was the character name.
I thought so too.
But
Yeah. And
no, it's not. It's Dorothy, and calling her Tootsie, Dorothy is very upset about that. So it's so weird that this movie is called Tootsie.
I guess Tootsie is just more catchy as a title.
It's
Like, and I
because of that song that was written for it, Tootsie
yeah.
Roll.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. And a song about Dorothy probably wouldn't sell as well. That's it.
Yeah, it was so bizarre. Like there were so I definitely agree with you in the fact that like I wouldn't put it in my top 10 funniest movies of all time. It was very funny. I did really enjoy it.
Mhm.
But after and of course Some Like It Hot is
Yeah.
above Tootsie. So
Yes, agreed.
and that having come first and Tootsie doing so many things that ape that in a way where it's less effective, it's like if you're gonna pull from another movie that's regarded as the funniest movie and now you're doing a comedy, you need to like change it a little bit more or amp it up and like commit way harder.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think I'm with you. I'm not the kind of person to harp on this thing, but it is so strange to me. Here I am harping on it. I think it's really weird that the top two I think this AFI list, as all AFI
So
lists are,
sexist.
they're
No.
very old and outdated. But
Yeah.
also this one in particularly, I don't even think like at least the top 100 films of all time got like a 10th anniversary redux where they re-ranked everything. This comedy list to have Some Like It Hot and Tootsie, two movies with a very, very specific man dresses up as woman.
Yes.
Like it's just again, these things don't I'm not super sensitive to these things. Like it doesn't bother me and I'm into the comedy of it, but it feels like that's of a different time. Like the idea of
Yeah.
like, oh, the crux of the comedy is a man dressing up as a woman and having to be a woman.
But
It
you know
feels very
why?
outdated.
Well,
Why
I
was that?
feel like why that's still funny and still okay is because them dressing up as women, they're not making fun of anybody's sexuality.
Yes, agreed.
They're speaking on gender roles in general and inequality that women face and harassment that women face. It's not about somebody like wanting to be a woman
Yeah.
or anything like that. Like that's not what's funny about it.
Right. It's not mocking people who are like, "Oh, I actually want to be a woman," or "I think
Right,
I am
which
a
if
woman."
that were
Yeah.
the case, those movies would not be okay right now, and it would be
Yeah, and
like,
I agree with you. I think there is nothing mean-spirited about either of these
"No,
portrayals. So that's not
not
what
at
I'm
all."
saying. I think it just shows an old-fashioned sense of
Yes.
like nothing is funnier than a man dressing up as a woman, and
The
it's
height
like
of
yes, the
hubris.
height of comedy
Yeah.
is that. Like to the point that the two highest ranking American films in comedy are about that. That feels a little like, okay, I think we've moved past. This isn't
Yeah.
as hysterical or as novel. Maybe even in the wake of like Mrs. Doubtfire and
Mhm.
dozens of films that have ripped this off far less effectively.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of it too. Is like this genre has kind of been sort of like exhausted.
Yeah, well, and we also talked about in the Some Like It Hot episode, part of the reason as to why that could be regarded as the funniest film, like comedic
Yeah.
film. And that one of those reasons was because it's been funny for so long. Like,
Yes.
and those jokes still hold up. So, in the sense that, like, that movie was done in the 50s, that movie's been funny for 70 years almost. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
And that was original.
And also,
So,
but just like brilliantly structured, like a
yes,
well told story with great
it
characters, great
flies
comedy.
by and it's a long movie. That's not a short film. It's not a quick
Yeah.
hour and a half. Like, and every single moment of it, you're like, oh, I like this. I like this. It's great. It's great. It builds on itself and it's like constantly changing and it's very funny. The jokes are still like very relevant. The
Yeah.
message is still very relevant. And the fact that Tootsie came almost 30 years later and did
Was like
almost the
it's
same
just as
thing.
good. Yeah. It just doesn't, I don't see that. It
And
doesn't
it's yeah, it's like,
click as
oh, you
well.
know what it okay, so in Some Like It Hot, you've got, Daphne and Josephine, shampoo
Hmm.
and conditioner. Tootsie, you've got your like 2-in-1, all you just do it. They thought they were
Right.
like, well, we're gonna condense this and it's gonna be
Yeah.
good to go. And it's not as effective.
Exactly. Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it's
exactly what
just your
I was
2-in-1
thinking
shampoo
it. I
conditioner.
was thinking it, and it was on the tip of my tongue, but you worded it so
I really
beautifully.
wrapped it up there. Yeah,
That's it.
it
Yeah.
is a very funny movie, and I do suggest anybody who likes Bill Murray, if you haven't seen it,
Yeah.
he is
What a
brilliant.
pleasant surprise. Yes.
He is brilliant. All of his little one-liners, everything that like when he's fixing Dustin Hoffman's wig for him,
Yes.
like just I mean, he's not in it a whole lot. He is obviously a supporting role, but like
He
he
makes it count.
he really does. He makes it count. Everybody in this movie does such a great job. The acting is fantastic. Like
Hmm.
Dustin Hoffman really does look good as a lady.
Oh yeah.
And one of the things that I read is that he actually developed an allergy to the makeup that they used and had like blisters and
Oh
rashes
no.
because they had to use a latex based makeup, I guess, because of like, to really cake it on so you couldn't see his mustache and stuff. And they also did those the Joe Pesci where, they tape up the jowls and pull up the eyes with
Oh
the
right, right,
yeah,
right.
so, like, he really comes across and especially at that time, like, the wardrobe lends itself to making him a more believable woman.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's
And
it's not weird for him to be wearing, like, modest clothes with, like, a high collar dress. Like, that's super late or early '80s, late '70s style, especially for the age that he would have been, like,
it
I'm sorry,
works.
she, yeah. So, like, it totally that era lends itself perfectly for this to work. The same way that the movie, being in black and white and it being the 20s with Some Like It Hot, that it lent that to working where they passed too, because it
Yeah.
just, like, but it was nowhere near as good. It was
Yeah,
nowhere
I
near as
agree.
good.
I
And that
agree.
makes me sad because I, I feel like I liked it so much, but I was also so disappointed.
Yeah, there are things where it could have been better, and I'm kind of surprised. It's I think the concept is so fun that I think it disguises the shortcomings, or maybe it was just easier to look past those because it was such a like, oh my gosh, Dustin Hoffman, what? He's great.
Yeah.
So I think that was so effective and distracting that people were more willing to overlook things that didn't work about it. But I agree. I felt like, again, the downside of being ranked so highly is the expectations are so high, and I do feel kind of disappointed in that regard. But I did like the movie. I would
Yes.
not call it one of the like greatest comedies
No.
ever. I would say it is worth a watch and very funny, and
Yes.
uh its reputation is understandable, but I certainly don't rank it as highly.
Yeah, and it's free on Hulu right now. So
Yeah.
like if you have Hulu and you haven't seen it, I would definitely say watch it. It's a lot of fun, but other like I would also not be mad if someone was like, "Hey, I want to watch Tootsie." I was like, "Okay, yeah, put it
If
on." Like
someone
that's a
gave it
fun
to me as
one.
a present, I'd be like,
Oh,
"Oh, great,
I'd be
cool.
like,
I'm glad I
"Great,
have
great
this." Yeah.
film, fantastic." But
Yes.
it was definitely different than what I expected, and I wish that in this instance, like with this movie, they had, instead of like combining those two characters from Some Like It Hot, they got rid of the predatory version entirely, and
Mhm.
Dustin Hoffman wouldn't have ever hit on Julie, and he
Yeah.
only would have been supportive and helped her, and he never would have even tried to sleep with her or kiss her as Dorothy, or even use things that he learned as Dorothy to try and kiss her when he was himself as Michael. So like I feel like it would have been more effective, and it would have been way sweeter for them to have gotten together at the end if he had never had those intentions in the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like the lesson he learned, it didn't feel enough like there was a lesson learned there.
It
Like
didn't
it
feel like
like
there was any lesson learned.
exactly,
He got
exactly.
everything he wanted.
And you said that at the beginning, and it's 100% true. I think
Yeah.
that's why it makes it a little less satisfying in the end.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Final ratings? Anything else that we haven't touched on that you want to say?
Um no, I think that's it.
Okay. Well, one of the things we haven't discussed that was another one of the best moments in the film was him pushing over the mime,
Oh,
which is
yes, I
great.
forgot about
So,
that. That was so after he does his whole debut as a man, which that was
yes,
such a funny speech, and it's such a soap opera-y plot, and like,
yes,
yeah, that was so
so
funny.
good.
But yeah, when he kicks over the mime, that's so great. Oh, also, that whole scene when the Dr. Bergman, or whatever that doctor's name was,
Yeah,
comes over after he's followed Dorothy home and comes inside and is like attacking her. I mean, he's
yeah,
straight up about to rape her.
yes. He
And
even makes
then,
it. He goes, "Rape is not a funny thing," or
well,
something like
Bill
that.
Murray says that. But
Oh
this
yeah,
is, yeah, so Bill Murray then walks in the door because at first this her co-star like is looking around the apartment being like, this lady really lives here, like
yeah,
whatever, and then he gets really creepy with her, and Dorothy's trying to get away, and then Bill Murray walks in, and the way that Dorothy separates from the co-star is like, you've just caught us in something. And of course the actor, her co-star, thinks like, oh, this is her fella that's come
yes.
home. Now it makes sense that she lives with a man. That's why this apartment looks this way. Okay, I get it. And he's like all very apologetic and I'm very sorry. Nothing happened. And then the whole time, like Dorothy's face is like somebody who's just been caught maybe doing something because
Yes.
like the actor doesn't know what they know. And then when the door closes and he leaves, Bill Murray goes, "You slut." and and then Dustin Hoffman's like, "That's nothing. Rape is no laughing matter." And it's
Yes,
true, it's
exactly.
not. It's not funny, but that was a very funny
It was a
scene.
very funny scene, is the irony. So I would
Yes.
say, so what do you think? Should we do for our ratings, our rating system, should we do mime kicked over mimes or corn cobs?
Corn cobs,
Okay,
of
let's do corn
course.
cobs.
Because
So
corn's
from
the
a
best.
it's the best. On a scale from 1 to 5, with 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest, how many corn cobs would you give Tootsie?
Okay, this is really tough for me, Sean, because and anybody who's listened to the episodes knows that I am not good at giving
With the
bad
rating.
scores. I don't think I've given anything we've seen lower than a 4 out of
Yeah.
5, which is so no, that's not true. I think I gave Westworld a 3. This movie's
Yes.
better than Westworld.
Oh, for sure.
But also, I don't feel it deserves better than a 3, and I almost wish I could go back and re-rate everything now that I've done other movies.
It's okay. You know,
I'll
it's
give
out
it a
there
3.
forever.
I'm gonna give
Okay.
it a 3.
I'll give it 3.5. So
Okay.
I'll just a tiny bit,
Yeah.
but
Well, because you're
agreed.
a man. You're giving
Because
it a
I'm a
man
man and I
score.
have to be a higher number. It's true,
It's true.
100%.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
learned absolutely nothing from this film. Not that it was trying to teach me. Clearly, it wasn't trying to teach me anything in the first place. But
Yeah, it was fun, and I definitely would tell people to watch it, and I don't hate it. I'm not mad at it. I was just
no,
disappointed.
agreed.
And this is not knowing anything going into it other than that it was the second best comedy of all time, one of the top
Yeah.
100 movies of all time. That's literally it. Dustin Hoffman cross dresses. Like I got the synopsis so wrong, and I was still somehow let down. Like, I I knew nothing.
That's a ringing endorsement if I've ever heard one. I knew nothing and I was still disappointed.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes, I did too.
Yeah.
And it's an enjoyable film.
Like a bad one night stand.
That's it. That's with a woman dressed or a man dressed as a woman.
Yeah, so basically what Les had.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, poor guy.
Well, all right. Thank you so much again, Carly, for hanging out with me
this
to
was
chat
so
about the
fun.
movies.
I'm glad we got to experience this together.
Me too. And if people want to see all the amazing things you're doing and projects you're working on, where can they find you on the social medias?
So I only have an Instagram, and that's at Carley Does Makeup, and it's Carley. Yes, because there is another Carley Does Makeup, but she spells it differently. Yes, exactly. I feel like I have to.
She's just a super skank. She is.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. She
sorry,
seems lovely. She does bridal makeup and beauty stuff.
I hope she doesn't listen to this.
I don't know her. I'm sorry. No.
She's got like 50,000 followers, and they're all coming.
Maybe she probably has way more than I do because I'm a nobody.
No, you're the best. You're the best. All the stuff you post is amazing. So yes, everyone go follow Carly. Get her up to 50,000 so she can be the most popular Carley Does Makeup.
Oh yes, thank you. Please, and thank you.
Thank you.
This is like it'll benefit your podcast. It'll benefit me. It's just mutual beneficiating.
Everyone gets something. Everyone is happy. So yes, 100%. So I am. I'm at @YayShawnDoorman on Twitter. You can find my Letterboxd account, ShawnDoorman05. It's very exciting, Carly. If you're
you
not
also
on
spell
Letterboxd.
Sean differently.
I do. It's ShawnDoorman. In case anyone is wondering, that's how it's spelled.
The more correct way.
The more correct way, exactly. So, well, this has been lovely, and we, of course, have some special gifts for our audience coming soon. Which we will. Yeah, that you know about. You were like, you were the one who came up with it.
I did. I'm very excited. Who knows when? But
who knows when?
You're welcome, and I'm sorry. Mostly you're welcome.
Mostly you're welcome, but also I'm sorry. So yes,
it's not my fault. I didn't make it. I just appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we will see you at the movies.
I've been saying